Welcome, everyone. It's David Skytero, kind of. I haven't been, I kind of let the channel drop. Frankly, YouTube shadow banned me. I didn't really know what happened. Um, I kind of, that's where I kind of get myself. It's like, how could I not have not understood? But months after it happened, I was trying so hard to, I didn't understand. It went from, I don't know, 500 to 3,000 views, and I thought for a tarot channel, wasn't that old. I mean, it was going pretty good. And then all of a sudden, like overnight, I was lucky to get 30 views. I was growing really fast. It just completely dead. Like for months and months, just almost no growth. You know. But then I saw, that this had happened to somebody with a real channel, with, millions of views and moving at thousands of subscribers a day and all this, and they went to almost zilch over some COVID. And then on my YouTube channel, I for tarot means a lot to me, and I thought it was okay because I never discussed any of my views about the world, but I didn't realize that YouTube and Facebook are linked, so the algorithms working on both. So in Facebook, I do make my views known. What I want to do here is just kind of get this on the record. And what I'm going to do is look at the event chart for the United States of America. And I don't really have the technical ability to put this on the screen like a lot of YouTubers. I'm sorry. But I'll put a link to my Facebook page. You can stop this and go there and bring it up and look at it. You also see the article I wrote just today on the 7th, okay? And so you can do it that way if you'd like. And I'm just going to read from my article when I do this. Now, if you do pull up the event chart yourself for the United States of America when it was conceived, I would use the one with the ascendant at 12 degrees Sagittarius. That would be the one you want, I believe. Anyway, it's the one I'm using. I think it's what most people want to use. So a little background, there's a channel on YouTube called Inspired. You might be familiar with it if you're a light worker or a healer. Earl Grey tea, okay? Not booze. I love the guy and his wife. They're real and doing the Lord's work, I believe. So I watch it sometimes. And I watched it the other day, a couple days ago, and there's a piece on there, if you pull it up, about the looking glass, okay? And then, now they have started their own channel, and it's inspired .local. I did join, and it's free to join. You can watch a lot for free, and if you want $5 a month to subscribe. So, a lot of people are moving into this direction because of the censoring, which I've experienced. And, it's just ridiculous. I mean, well, what has happened to America? Free speech is everything. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. We've discussed this for hundreds of years. And, doctors and scientists, for instance, talking about their view of COVID and asking scientific, serious questions about what's happening in our world is not yelling fire in a crowded theater. So, we're under attack, people. I'm just gonna say it. I really don't give a shit. Well, I'm doing it on this channel. This channel's already blown, and I spent my whole life. I'm Virgo rising. I spent my whole life standing back, and in past lives, I'm sure I was probably like, murdered for being a witch. I don't like to stand out. I hate crowds. I remember being when I was a young kid and seeing the Nazis and just seeing thousands of people in sync doing anything. It was hard for me as a teenager to go to concerts. It's like, oh my God, you get a bunch of people together, it's like dangerous. And I'm sort of seeing that energy, and the way they divide us, the men against the women, and the left against the right, and the blacks and the whites and the gays and the straights. It's just, I mean, oh my God, I've been a conspiracy theorist probably since I was 16. Drove my little bicycle in Arlington, Virginia into Washington, D.C. to the New Zealand embassy. I made an appointment. Didn't have computers back then. Called them on the phone. Like to make an appointment. My name. And parked my bike there. Changed it up. Went inside. The guy was shocked. And I was a 16-year-old. He was like, "What do you want?" I said, "I want to immigrate to New Zealand." And he said, kind of looked a little confused. He said, "Well, okay, have a seat." And I started talking. And he said, "Why do you want to immigrate to New Zealand?" I said, "Well, I read where you guys just told America to go fuck itself, wanting to put its nuclear subs in your deep water port, to resupply and stuff. And I really admire that. And I'd like to be a New Zealander, sir." 16-year-old kid. I was already woke as fuck. So I remember sitting in class, and the teacher would be talking about Columbus discovering America. I wouldn't say anything. I had a stack of books from the library. I didn't pay attention in class. I read my books. And I was thinking to myself, right, there's people here waving at Columbus when he gets here. But he discovered America. But I already learned at 16, don't say anything, because I don't like getting criticized. I don't like standing out. So I just, so my whole life's kind of like, God, watching America like this turn into this. I'm in Mexico, beautiful downtown Mexico, in the concrete jungles, thank God. But at the, he said, "Hold on a minute," at the embassy, and he kind of have a couple of my friends come down, my coworkers. He said, "Yeah." So I had an audience of about 4 people from New Zealand, and they're asking me all these questions, and I've been reading on, and they were laughing, and I ended up going to New Zealand, but that gives you an idea of kind of where I'm coming from. Not the nouveau woke position. But when I saw this, what they were talking about, and I don't want to go too much into it, but because you can watch it for yourself if you want. And really, what they're talking about is it's out there. It's out there. I'll give you that. And I'm jumping all into it because I just don't care anymore. I've been looking for hope, people. I want some hope. I don't have hope in my fellow citizens. They got the governments, they got the armies, they got all the media almost, and I think they're going to shut everything down soon. I'm telling you, if anything you want to know that they're not going to want you to know. Well, I've been writing down name of medicines, to treat COVID and stuff. Thank God you can buy things here in Mexico. I have a emergency pack for myself and my Mexican fiance, and I didn't even say anything, but I bought enough for the family and everybody, just because there's more coming, people. I'd say it, more coming. A lot of us know this, but this is why I want to see some. I call it the spiritual cavalry. I literally pray, let God, for the love of God, can we give some help here? And I think that this could be, this looking glass, it could be the spiritual cavalry. Now the good news is, today's the 7th, we will know by the 13th, okay? So this is the first date that was given by the people that are trying to help us, who say they can't intervene directly, but they can intervene passively. So they're giving us very specific dates of events over the next 8 years up until 2029, at which point, and is it coincidence that the global reset now talks about 2030? And that's just another word for Agenda 21, okay? So the good news is, what they're saying is, if we can take these events seriously and either stop them or significantly mitigate these events, there's more than one. This one on April 18th, is the first one. There's another in May. I wish to God someone could get involved in this one in April 18th. Let's just stop people from being hurt, in the first place, and also maybe change the timeline. And that's the point of this, is we can shift the timeline away from the denigration of humanity into this technical totalitarian autocracy that we're being forced into, by rich people who have no elective authority. Nobody has, there's no elected representatives involved. We're not involved. It's like, we don't matter. You're gonna go down this road. You're gonna get chipped and dipped, and money's gonna be on the chip. And it's not a joke, people. It's New World Order now. The president mentioned it the other day. There's books about the Great Reset. I mean, it's not a conspiracy theory. And by the way, as I say here, conspiracy theorists are simply people who questions the veracity of known historical liars. That's all a conspiracy theorist is. That term was come up by the CIA back in the early 60s in response to the Kennedy assassination, which is obviously a false flag as well. And not joke, because that right there was the kind of beginning of the end, you know. I think this goes back further. But let me just read what I wrote about the chart, because I woke up this morning and when I used to do the tarot on YouTube, and I am on TikTok now doing tarot, and it goes going great. Why? Because I'm not shadow banned. So thank God for that. And I'm not putting too much energy into it. It's kind of like, I don't even know when to keep doing it. But I'm you know, doing a couple readings a day, and they allow you to get 10 minutes now. So we'll see. I'm just not that worth kind anymore. I'm focusing more on writing and stuff anyway. So, you know, I just read it here, what I have. Again, if you want to see it on Facebook, and forgive me just reading it, but I think that's the best way. And so when I woke up this morning, and I'm clairaudient, so a lot of times in the morning when I used to do tarot, I would get a voice that I'd literally say, look at the Fool card today, talk about the Fool card, or just something, and then I would, you know. When I get this, they never say go hurt people. It's always the most loving and kind and helpful and wise advice that's for, I've learned over many years to take it, you know. And when I heard, you know, just pull up the chart, David. Just pull up the chart, David. I knew what it was about. It was to pull up the chart of the USA, the event chart of the USA, and look and see if you see anything there around this date of the 18th. And I think I do. Now, as I say here, I'll get into, I'm not really a mundane astrologer, and I'm a mediocre astrologer anyway, and you know, but hopefully other people can have some input. I've put this on some sites where there are really kind of master astrologers. It may comment on it. I'm asking here if anybody can find out, particularly I want to know on the 18th, when does the moon exactly to the minute oppose this Uranus conjunction with Mercury, which is keying around that. And I just I don't have the patience or to go that you know, minute by minute into the moon and see by the degree. So if anyone knows that, you know, please leave me a comment here on YouTube, or go to Facebook and leave a comment on this post, and I will, you know, put that in the post and give you credit. And let me read this. So, and please share, I said. So this one I want you to share. If you're watching this, I mean, just share it, man. Let's get it out there. And why share it? I don't give a fuck, you know. I'm not, this channel's not gonna blow up or anything. I think like that. But, you know, honest to God, God forbid this is true, but if it is, I mean, we know it's going to be in Times Square. We know it's going to be a white panel van. We know it's going to be on the 18th. Okay, it's supposed to be a dirty nuke. It's going to kill a lot of people. So maybe it's bullshit. Maybe it's not. But why not? What if just a couple cops even just have their eyes out for a few days beforehand and can stop this and save lives, and then maybe shift the timeline? I mean, again, maybe nothing happens. The point that they were trying to make, if you go and watch, you know, this Looking Glass article, was that maybe after the first, why they're putting out all these times with a lot of very specific information, enough specific information in each case that we could actually prevent these events, you know, ourselves. So that'll be perpetrated by, you know, an evil. If you get 9/11, then you understand the evil that we're dealing with. If you don't, then if you still think 9/11 was, you know, 19 Arabs with box cutters that hate us because of our freedoms, well, you're probably not even watching at this point, and probably now you're not. But again, don't care. I want to get this out there. So I'll just read this. First, my experience in astrology, such that it is, has very much been personal astrology, not mundane astrology, the study of worldly events. And by and large, my concern in life in general does not extend to worldly events, but recently I felt called to take a look around based upon what I am seeing around this Pluto return in the event chart of the United States of America. which has been well covered by many master astrologers, and I would encourage anyone with any interest in this to check out some of the many articles or YouTubes, however that works best for you, because this is a very significant event in itself. So yes, it's the Pluto return that is really ringing my bell, and it's on, it's on. And it's, as far as I'm concerned, I'm an astrologer. I know astrologers, well, people all the time, and you know what you know, and you can't really unknow it. The Pluto return kicked in an exact degree on February 22nd, 22, and will continue now for 2 years and moves as Pluto moves very slowly and undergoes long retrogrades each year. Note that Rome fell during its Pluto return, an event that takes place about every 250 years, since that is how long it takes Pluto to make its trip around the Sun and return to its position in the natal chart. Pluto is also opposing my natal moon, which is within only minutes of opposition to Pluto in the event chart of the United States, and at least to me explains my lifelong contention with the United States, the country of my origin. I saw that and I went, no wonder I was in the New Zealand embassy at the age of 16 wanting to bug out. Okay, this is how it came to my attention some time ago now, as I was researching the dates for my own personal transits here in my own issues of Pluto opposing my moon, which is one of the most challenging aspects and transits in astrology, many would say. My immediate interest and concern is only a week away now on April 18, 2022, and mainly centers around the planets Uranus and Mercury, that on this date will be exactly conjunct at 13 degrees Taurus in the 6th house of the USA. There are so many hits around this that I'm having trouble bringing it all together in writing and deciding how deeply to go into this, always considering that few will pay any attention, and mostly this is an exercise to keep myself off the streets. Asteroids are involved heavily in what I am seeing, and in each case by a very close orb, so less than 1 degree orb of influence. But to calculate such a thing as an attack down to the day, I don't know, and I think maybe we need to allow for a few days either way, so say the 16th to the 22nd, with the 18th being a bullseye. Because I say that because as I look at this, I really do think something's going to happen. Maybe, maybe or maybe not about this psychic prediction, I don't, the voices are not, they don't speak to me about global things, personal things. And with tarot and things having to do with the reading, and sometimes working with people in astrology, but I don't typically get these global messages like this. So I have to take it seriously to some degree. So I find my track here. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury and can refer to the higher mind, or in my opinion, spirituality, spiritually speaking, the higher self. This portends in itself by conjunction a potential epiphany that could be as simple for us personally as a forehead slapping, oh yeah, how did I not see that? Regarding perhaps just a thought that hits us sipping a cup of coffee in the morning, or what someone says wherein we have a big realization that somehow gives us a higher understanding, typically of our own thought process or thought patterns. But here, and in the 6th house of the USA, I think we look at the lightning bolt disruptive nature of Uranus. So something in the form of an event that strikes, quote unquote, out of the blue. As it were, it affects the daily lives, the 6th house of the American people, which could take a lot of forms, and I consider here that 9/11 had an immediate effect upon the people, both in our communication and transportation, which are stalwarts of Mercury energy. There's a darkness in all this, leading me to an attack that offhand would be upon the communications and power infrastructure that has been predicted for some time, as possibly with Russia seen as the likely perpetrator. I would not rule out other forms of attack, though. With Uranus involved, the phrase out of the left field cannot be taken too seriously. The moon will be transiting in Scorpio, where it is at fall, and most notably and ominously to me, conjunct the transiting asteroid Dejanira. And at some point, and within less than a degree, at some point in the day, the moon will exactly oppose this Mercury-Uranus conjunction. That's what I wouldn't mind a little help with. One of you Virgos out there, give me the exact minute. if you got a minute to help, if you want to play along. The moon is well known to be represent the people of a country in an event chart, and Dejanira carries the energy of abuse and victimization. So this to me is a false flag attack, with the people ultimately being victimized by their own government once again, which is typically the case. Always keeping in mind here that conspiracy theorists are simply people who question the veracity of known liars. Okay? Perhaps someone more skilled than I could give exact time on the opposition. I've already said that. The moon in the event chart of the U.S. is highly and ominously challenged by an opposition to the true oscillating black moon Lilith H13 in Astro by a stunning 3-minute orb of opposition. Now, I only look now at the H13. I don't even look at the mean one, and mostly I go by Tom Jacobs, who I love, and I think he knows better than I, certainly, and better than most people in terms of for anything black moon, okay? This transiting moon, again, at some point in this day, will also form an exact semi-sextile to Saturn in the event chart, representing the government at 14 degrees 48 minutes Libra. So that to me can indicate an action of being devised and undertaken by the government in regard to the people. Some action that is devised and undertaken. That semi-square, semi-sextile, when you work with people in the chart, that's an opportunity energy, especially if you see it in natal, and especially in transits. And it's something where you need to take some kind of action, to make this work. So I see a similar potential for manipulation in this Mercury-Uranus by the transit forming a sextile to the Sun in the U.S. event chart at 13 degrees 19 minutes, with the Sun representing the leader. So here, the president. This is a stretch, I understand, but I see the chart ruler here, Jupiter, separating by a degree, who's still conjunct Neptune in the fourth house, which is the house of the people, I believe, in a mundane chart, okay, ruled by the moon and representing the house of the people, that some kind of spell is being cast over the people's minds, which surely is true on many levels, making this general benefit of Jupiter transit conjunct Neptune, which is considered very positive, really, in and of itself, potentially dark in the chart here of the USA, I feel. Now, someone's already questioned me about that, that probably is more knowledgeable about mundane charts and wanted an explanation. One thought was, I think of Elon Musk, buying a controlling interest in Twitter, and everybody's like, oh my God, he's just going to ride in on his white horse and save free speech in America, the world, whatever. Like that. People being fooled, a spell being cast. Neptune can be fuzzy. Jupiter enhances. Also, to me, I might go in and revise my writing here probably later. This combination and the way it's aspected in the chart, over-promising, that kind of thing. I see a lot of the flag waving and this nonsense with the Ukraine, and you have a president who, not a word out of their mouth about like a peace. Which is odd. I would like, a lot of, in the past, the presidents have won Nobel Prizes for reconciling and bringing peace to foreign countries, And in this case, it's disgusting. And I watched some of the press conferences. It reminds me of like junior high school when two kids would fight. This disgusting energy. People jump up on the tables and pound their feet and go, fight, fight, fight. If you watch the press conferences, they're almost goading them. Like, why don't you get the fly zone? Why don't you start World War III? And, I don't understand. I just don't understand it. I posted a cartoon, an anti-war cartoon weeks ago on Facebook, and somebody called me a fascist and a sexist. And I'm just like, that's some serious fucking projection there. How you could take a war protest cartoon and call it fascist? People's minds are just gone now, I think, and it's been a lot of work on that. It's been going on for decades on end now, and with their own tax dollars, and then taking the kids and running through these schools and did these things. So that's why I say, anyway, I think there's a potential darkness there. This, another way that I see that when I think about it is if this is a false flag, and what the psychic said was this would then be blamed on Russia, right? Of course. And that makes sense because there's been a lot of talk, right? The Ukraine, and that Russia's been hacking us already, and look out. And another thing I feel that's coming is psychically, and they're going to take down the communication grid, guys. I mean, I discussed that with my girlfriend because my Spanish, poco y poco, is getting better, but for really serious conversations, we use the voice translator. Thank you, Google. And I was telling her, there's going to be a period of time coming, I think soon, where they're going to take that down, And imagine people's when we can't get on our internet and our Twitters and our YouTubes, and maybe probably your cell phones. It could even take down the power. So I mean, this could be serious. I mean, think about hospitals without power, and this may go on for some period of time, days or weeks. I don't know. So I think this is when they're going to slip this bill into the U.S. System anyway, and kind of like how 9/11 brought us the Department of Homeland Security and the Patriot Act, and just fucked us and two horrible, useless wars and deaths of brave, patriotic soldiers that are just trying to do the right thing, but are being used by just evil fucks. I'm sorry, So that kind of energy. It's like, so then this happens, and they say, the Russians did it. No, now you got World War III, and the Russians aren't going to do it. I've already made my mind. It's only a matter of time, but they probably set off a suitcase nuke somewhere, and they're going to. I've always been thinking, who knows who they would blame it on? North Korea, and now everything's pointing to Russia. It seems the boogeyman. But you go playing these games with another state that has nuclear weapons, and that's not going to end well for the people. And so I think that too speaks about just basically like a lie, being misled, and also being hyped. The energy of Jupiter and Neptune is building up a false hope, our enthusiasm that Neptune is nebulous. It's not like Saturn's not solid. So you're gonna get real excited, and you're gonna feel like, oh boy, oh boy, we're releasing the oil reserves, gonna bring the price down of the oil. You're just making profit for the companies, man. That's what I mean by the Neptune and Jupiter. So we have the asteroid finally Pholus approaching by transit, the asteroid Eris in the U.S. event in Capricorn, representing the government, and where Pluto has been steadily doing its underground work for many years now. And this is the exact energy of an event triggering a larger event. And really, while merely asteroid to asteroid, given that it's less than 1 degree, and the potentially explosive nature, really both of these asteroids, but especially Eris, this could indicate the explosive event that has been predicted, I believe, by this psychic prediction for the 18th, and the event being in Times Square. Pholus exactly is the energy of a small event that triggers a bigger event. Think about World War I. Think about, every war has been started by a false flag. It in and of itself was a relatively small event. People died. I mean, World War I was just ridiculous. You know your history. But World War II, you have a ship sunk, and it was sunk. We knew it was going to be sunk by a Russian submarine. They put an ad in the New York Times, said, do not get on this ship if you're a passenger, because we know it's carrying weapons, and we will blow it the fuck up. And we wanted them to blow it up so we could start World War II. Every war started by a false flag attack. Vietnam. What a clusterfuck Vietnam was. Started by the Tonkin Gulf incident. It was complete fabrication. This is known now. From freedom, this is not even conspiracy theory. Absolutely true. Powell, weapons of mass destruction. Oh gosh, that was a lie. Well, golly gee whiz. Oops, our bad. We just countless people killed. Libya, we just destroyed entire civilization. For what? Because really, they wanted to start an African dollar, so you can't have that. But that really concludes it, and I just want to say, honest to God, may God, guide us and protect us and give us strength, friends. Thank you. Please share this. Thank you.